Next up, we have Sean Day, Managing Director of Greatland Gold. Sean has over 25 years industry experience in executive and financial positions across mining, infrastructure, investment banking and international consulting. Was previously the CFO of Northern Star. Please welcome Sean Day for an update on Greatland Gold.
Thanks. I'd just like to start by thanking the Diggers and Dealers community for another great event and recognising Canaccord as the major sponsor and Digby for the kind introduction. On behalf of Greatland, we really appreciate the opportunity to present here today. My name's Sean Day, I'm the Managing Director. And as many of you may know, we're actually London listed, so a little bit unique to be presenting at Diggers, but we operate here. So it's a really great opportunity for us to build our profile here in Australia where we operate. There's already been a formal welcome to country, but I just want to recognise the Indigenous partners we have in development of our asset base here in Australia. In terms of Greatland, our flagship asset is Havron, which is a copper gold asset. It's a high-grade deposit in the northwest of the state, so a Tier 1 jurisdiction. We sit next to existing infrastructure. We're just 45 kilometres east of the existing Telfer infrastructure. We already have delineated a 6.5 million ounce gold equivalent JORC resource. And if you have a look at the drilling over the last 18 months, your expectation will be that that continues to grow. As an organisation, Greatland retains the upside through continued exploration along strike. And finally, we've put together a team to deliver on the opportunity that we have. I always like to start around orientating people with our strategy, and there's three core pillars to our strategy. Deliver an expanded Havron. We want to continue to invest in the drill bit and unlock the option value in that portfolio. And finally, we want to consider financially disciplined opportunities to augment that organic growth profile. And it's just worth reflecting a little bit on the last 12 months, the journey we've taken, where we've set out and we've delivered what we set out to achieve. Around 12 months ago, we successfully completed an arbitration process with our joint venture partner. We successfully kept our full stake of 30% stake of the asset. We then subsequently completed an equity raising, institutionally led. We also brought in Wyloo as a really important strategic partner for us. We completed banking support led by ANZ, ING and HSBC. We really appreciate that relationship. We've also had the opportunity to complete a transaction more recently with Rio Tinto Exploration, where we more than doubled our footprint in the Paterson. And we've achieved all this whilst developing our team, both at the management and at the board level, and delivering record quarters of development at the Havron asset, which is a great credit to the team up there. I touched on team then, and through my career, I've been incredibly fortunate to be involved in a leadership role with several really successful groups. Straits Resources in its heyday, Sakari Resources up in Singapore before we were taken over for billions, and then more recently with Northern Star. Having the right team in place is a huge part, and each of those grew to multi-commodity, multi-billion-dollar platforms. And for me, putting that team in place is going to be the foundation of our success. And I think we've been incredibly successful at attracting talent, both at the management level, where we've brought in a lot of people who have been part of the journey with me at those other organisations, but also at the board level, where Chairman Mark Barnabar, Deputy Chair Elizabeth Gaines, and across there as an Executive Director, part of the team, Jimmy Wilson, one of the senior leaders of BHP. It is an exceptional team, and that provides us the best opportunity of unlocking medium to long-term growth. I won't spend too much time on this slide other than just to put it in the context of our Australian peers, particularly the development assets, and we believe we have the platform to unlock significant value. When I think about Havron, it's important to understand this is already in development. We already have a JORC reserve, and we've also continued to expand the JORC resource, and our expectation is we'll update that resource again in the second half of this year. This is just an overview of the operation itself. You can see the decline there. We're just completing that third spiral, and then we just have one spiral to go to get to the top of the ore body. So what we're doing is going through that barren Permian layer, and with depth, that becomes increasingly consolidated, and you can observe this with record quarterly advance rates. The resource to reserve conversion is really important here. Firstly, the reserve sits there at over 3.7 grams gold equivalent. This is a high-grade ore body, but perhaps the best number on this page is that 86% there, the conversion rate. So this is the conversion from resource to reserve, and it speaks to the quality of Havron. It's an exceptional conversion rate. It's the best I've seen in my career, and it reflects that you've got a high-grade ore body, sub-vertical structure, beautifully set up to mine, sitting next to the infrastructure we're installing. So it virtually all comes into that mine plan. This is actually my favourite slide though, ounces per vertical metre. This is a huge metric that we used at Northern Star in terms of thinking about underground gold mines, and 8,000 ounces per vertical metre through the top half of this ore body. That is an exceptional value, ounces per vertical metre. And you might look at it and say, well, it tails in. But that is a function of the density of drilling. So if you look at the y-axis on this chart, you can see that down there, that is the drilling where we've delineated ounces, that builds into that profile. And you can see we've done more drilling at the top of the ore body. The stacked bar graphs, you can see the green there, that is additional drilling that we've completed subsequent to the delineation of the ounces. So we have a really strong expectation that we'll continue to add ounces to follow those arrows both on the lateral level to add more ounces per vertical metre, but also at depth. And proportionally, you've seen we've done a lot of drilling towards the bottom of the ore body. So that drives a really strong capital efficiency, because for every vertical metre you're advancing, you're unlocking over 8,000 ounces, but also it delivers a lowest quartile all-in sustaining cost. And particularly because we're not chasing these ounces over a 2 or 3 kilometre strike length, this is a compact 650 metre strike length. So again, the efficiency of that and the cost structure you drive from that is exceptional. And just to finalise our understanding of Havron, this is just looking down at plan view, which is kind of helpful to understand. You see that horseshoe structure, that zone 1, the southeast crescent, really strong grade. That's where we're going to start mining. Sub-level open stoping with secondary paste fill. We want to be selective here. With the secondary paste fill, we want to come back and take all of that zonation because it's such good grade. Then we've got area 2, which is the northern breccia. So as we've continued to drill this, what we've been able to delineate is more and more of these high-grade pods, and we're really seeing this kind of northwest corridor of grade coming through there. And that's really important because it gives us flexibility about how we tackle the mining of that area and the size of that prize. If we walk across to the eastern breccia, which is a more newer expansion of this ore body, the intercepts you've seen, they've been consistently sitting around 200 metres at consistently good grade. This is a really important area of growth for us. And collectively, that northern breccia and eastern breccia gives us an opportunity to think about bulk mining solutions. We can go in there and stope it, but potentially we can also think about bulk mining solutions, which is really advantageous, particularly when you consider we have installed infrastructure down the road at Telfer of over 20 million tonnes milling capacity. So it's a really interesting opportunity for us. I do want to just touch on the exploration portfolio. I think it's really important to understand the option value we have in this portfolio. We're in the Paterson. This is elephant country. The Telfer was a top 5 Australian gold mine for most of its multi-decade mine life. We have a stunning deposit, world-class deposit next door in Havron. And if you move up to the north, you've got the Rio Tinto Winu project. So this is, big projects. It's a great postcode to be doing exploration in, and it's undercover. Now that makes it technically challenging, but cover is our friend. Applying modern geological techniques and geophysics, you can find these big ore bodies. And you've seen the recent discovery of Havron, you've seen the recent discovery of Winu. This is a great place to be looking. Overall, you can also see here we've got those red outline. So I talked about we are willing to consider inorganic growth. We've done a earn-in with Rio Tinto where Greatland is manager, and you can see we've more than doubled our footprint through the Paterson with, we think, some of the highest quality untested targets there are. Rio Tinto has done a great job both in terms of establishing the access but also in the technical and the geophysical work we do, and we're hugely grateful for that. Plus that augments what we already have along structure from Havron. This is the Rio Tinto transaction that we announced just in the last quarter. I won't go through that. It's a standard couple of stage earning, but I would like to acknowledge the professionalism that Rio Tinto brought to that discussion, and just the personal engagement. It's really set up a tremendous platform and basis for a multi-year relationship between the organisations. I talked about the geophysics. I won't spend too much time on this, but this is actually a couple of the targets that we've brought in on that Rio Tinto ground. And we mobilised a drill rig within 4 weeks of completing that, safely and efficiently, which was testament to the team. But this is a confluence of the magnetics, conductors, plus you see a change in gradient of that gravity. So it's the confluence of those 3 factors which are really exciting for us. So initial targets there, Stingray and Decker. They are top 20 targets for us, but with this huge expanse of ground, we really are spoilt for choice there, and the geology team is extremely pleased with having this platform. In terms of our broader exploration platform, look, we've got some really strong holdings, I think headlined by Ernst Giles, which is an Archean greenstone, again undercover. We've taken geophysics to that. We think it has some outstanding targets. We're completing the heritage access agreements there, but that's a real focus for us. But overall, our philosophy in approaching this is to be portfolio managers. We've moved some assets out into, recently our Tasmanian assets into Flynn Gold. We felt they had a competitive advantage at unlocking value in Tasmania, where their focus is. Conversely, we've bought ground in with the Rio Tinto transaction. So again, it's about being an active portfolio manager to focus on creating value for our shareholders. Just to conclude, look, we have a world-class asset in Havron. It's in development. We started the decline and the box cut in February 2021, so we're really advanced there. And we've got a clear strategy. Deliver that expansion in Havron, continue to invest in the drill bit, and continued financially disciplined growth. And we believe we have the team to maximise the opportunity to unlock that value. So thank you very much. And Digby, if we have time for a question, please to take one.
Okay, thanks very much, Sean. Thanks, mate. So just time for one question. What does Newmont's bid for Newcrest mean for Greatland Gold?
Yeah, look, that's a really interesting, just for people's background, look, Newcrest is our joint venture partner. They're obviously subject to takeover by scheme of arrangement with Newmont. That's going to be a really interesting evolution. We've valued the relationship with Newcrest. But I know the Newmont people very well, particularly from my days at Northern Star. We think they really add to the platform. They've got a team based in Perth, literally in the building next door to us. We know them. We're really looking forward to that relationship. We have one that works already with Newmont, but we think the world's largest gold miner adds to that. And it gives us an opportunity to, I think, be really important to that relationship and develop Havron to its full potential. So we're really looking forward to that event. But it strategically creates a lot of opportunity and a lot of option value in the value of Greatland. So thank you again.
Thanks very much, Sean. Thank you, mate.